right, guys, here you go. This is what Dabbsson sent us. They sent us the Dabbsson DBS2300 Plus. They actually sent us 2 of them. And we are going to connect them in parallel with their junction box. What that junction box does is run 2 of their Dabbsson DBS2300 Pluses together, along with they sent us a DBS3000B battery expansion pack. So guys, with both power stations and the expansion battery, we're going to have 7,660 watt hours of battery capacity. So Dabbsson has taken the next step by including EV class, semi-solid state, Life PO4 batteries, and created a system that's extremely versatile, plug and play, and we could hook it up quick and easy. You could do this in your cabin, you could do this in your RV, in your vehicle, while you're camping. Having such flexibility is a really great option. I'm gonna get behind here and set this up over where our power comes into the cabin, and we're gonna run the cabin off of this for a few days and check it out and let you know how it does. So let's get going. All right, guys, before we bring the Dabbsson system over here, give you a real super quick rundown on the cabin. Our cabin's running off of a solar system we created outside. We have a 30 amp outlet coming from our solar shed. It's AC power. AC breaker box. Supply line comes down through the wall underneath the cabin and then goes to this extension. This is our power coming from our solar shed. I ran it into this 30 amp box. There's a 30 amp outlet here. I did install a 15 amp extension off here so we could charge power stations, or we could just use directly from the solar shed if something were to go bad in the cabin or have an issue. We can use the power from the solar shed as our grid and charge power stations if we'd like, or maybe in the long run, wait, down the road, I'll turn this into DC current and it can bring power from our solar panels directly. But for now, we still use the solar shed to supply this power line, this power supply. So we can unplug the cabin from right here. We'll do that right now. You see all the lights turn off. All right, power's off to the cabin. And now we can run this 30 amp plug directly to whatever system we like. If it has a 30 amp TT30 30 amp plug in it, we can plug the whole cabin directly into a power station. It's no different than like an RV or a camper. We don't need more than 30 amps here in the cabin. So we have an air fryer, coffee maker, refrigerator. We could use a heating, cooking surface if we wanted with electric now, with all the technology and the extra capacity that we're getting with these systems. We could definitely run more electric heat or electric cooking devices with this much capacity. But all that stuff runs directly from the solar, and now it's going to run through the Dabbsson DBS2300 setup. We're going to have, like I said, 7,660 watt hours of semi-solid state lithium iron phosphate batteries. Pretty awesome. And they're going to be in a controlled environment here in the cabin where they won't get cold unless we go away for the weekend. But even so, the cabin stays a little bit warmer. It takes quite a while for the cabin to cool off. So let's get this set up. Like I said, I think it's going to take like 10 minutes to set this up. If you're a rookie or a solar, not a solar professional, or you're just learning and you're worried or afraid or don't have the time to learn how to set up your own system like we did in the past, this is a great option for you. If you want it to be more mobile, this is a great option for you. So let's get the power stations and the battery expansion pack over here and hook it up. Literally, I'm going to try to do this live action. I'll show you how long it takes. Alright guys, when you use just 2 power stations, you don't need an extension or this expansion battery cable, but we have an extra battery as well. So we got to hook the expansion battery, which I put in the middle, to one of the power stations. Alright, so the power stations have these expansion plugs right here. There's 2 on each power station. And there's 1 on the expansion battery. So we can hook up 2 expansion batteries to each power station. So we could have as much as over 16,000 watt hours if we got 3 more battery expansion packs. So right now I'm going to hook up the middle expansion pack. Simple as plugging it in. Alright, I'm going to come down here and plug it into the bottom one. Plug her in right here. Piece of cake. Alright guys, now you don't have to stack them like this. I'm just trying to take up as least amount of floor space as possible. So here's our second power station. Here's our primary that's hooked up to the battery. So let's get out the junction box. Here's our parallel junction box. It has 2 wires coming off of it that go to our 2 power stations. And then as you can see, it has 2 20 amp 110 volt plugs and then 2 30 amp plugs. They've done a great job making this system extremely versatile. So this is our junction box. This is where we're going to plug everything into. Again, it's been about 5 to 10 minutes. I've been fiddling with the camera. It's been 8 minutes. So here is our AC output on this side. We have 4 AC plugs, and then we have a parallel port right here. So here's our junction box with our 30 amp plugs on it. We have 2 parallel plugs, 1 for each power station. So let's plug one in. Right there. Here's number 2. Plug this in right here. So now we have to obviously turn on the AC output. AC output. So there's our TT30 30 amp plug coming from our solar shed, no longer being used. So we can close this up. These outlets are still live, but they're not going anything. So we could charge the Dabbsson with an AC plug or both units with this if we need to. Obviously this isn't hooked up to anything right now, so we're only going to be able to use the capacity that's in it. We're going to see how many days we can run on 7,600 watt hours of power. So we should have power right here, right now. But let's plug it in right now. We got a little red indicator light here that shows we have power, so that's good. Hope I'm not missing anything. Let's see if we got power for the cabin. There we go. Everything's back on. I did watch quite a few reviews on this unit before I agreed to tell you guys about it. I do that with all of our sponsors. I make sure that there's a good product and a good company before I show you guys anything. As cool as this is, I don't want junk and I don't want to show you guys junk. So the 4 or 5 videos I watched about the Dabbsson DBS2300 Plus and the one prior to it without the Plus where you couldn't parallel anything, people had nothing bad to say about it. And it's the most practical, economical one around too. You get 2,330 watt hours of semi-solid state lithium iron phosphate batteries for, I believe on their website, it's $1,299. This whole setup would be the exact cost of our solar shed, which took me weeks and weeks and honestly months to really figure it out and get it right, making crimping wires, buying wires, making everything set up the way I want. This is double the capacity, almost 8,000 watt hours, and each unit has a 2,200 watt pure sine wave inverter. So when we junction it with the parallel box, we could put out 4,000 watts. Anyway, we set this up in less than 10 minutes. And it's running our cabin. Let's see how long we could go. 100%, 100%, 100%. We are not plugged into the solar shed at all. This is idle. Everything running off of the batteries. And we're gonna run off of this as long as we can with no input to it at all. It's all gonna be outgoing power. Let's see how long we can run our cabin. So it's been about 8 to 9 hours since we hooked up the new system from Dabbsson. We've actually been kind of pushing it just to test it. We have a ton of extra power going right now. Not only are Jen and I both working late, but we have all the lights on. We have Christmas lights on that aren't LED. So we have about 200 watts of extra power going on it, and we just wanted to kind of test the system and see how it did. So, pretty convenient that all this power fits right here. We have a 4x4 shed outside that has half of this capacity. We put a pretty good hurting on this, but it's just because we've had every light on and it's the holiday season, so check it out. So you guys saw us install our junction box here where it has two 30 amp, the TT30 outlets for the RV style plugs. It also has two 20 amp, 120 volt plugs right here. So 9 hours, 8 to 9 hours of operation on heavy draw with lots of extra lights, more than we're used to. Drawing 180 watts consistently. Like, it normally bounces between 60 watts and 180 watts when the fridge kicks on. Well, we've been drawing 180 watts consistently, and we're at 47% for the top unit. We're at 72% for the battery capacity here. This is the DB3000. The DBS3000, and then we have the other DBS2300 at the bottom, and that is 76% as well, and drawing around 200 watts. Once it gets dark, obviously here in the winter time, after 5 o'clock, we're drawing a lot of extra power from the cabin, and the big draw, about 120 watts of that 180 watts, is all the Christmas lights out here and along the top of the cabin. So I would say the lights that we have, the extra holiday lights, we really like them. It's worth it to us. I would say those replace possibly a form of entertainment, like a television or some kind of streaming service. We don't do that stuff every night. We do it once or twice a month, and that's okay. And we do spend a significant amount of time on our laptops working and, you know, checking stuff out there too. But anyway, we'll see you guys in the morning. We'll give you an update on how the new Dabbsson system's doing. Alright guys, good afternoon. Almost afternoon. So we've been running on the Dabbsson DBS2300 combo kit here for almost 24 hours, and let me show you the status of everything. This unit has actually been super quiet. Like, you could hear that now. It's a computer fan noise. We like that. Some of the other power stations we've used actually sound like pretty loud, so it's not something you really care to listen to while you're in the cabin. So let's see what the status is. We ran this pretty hard last night for 5 or 6 hours with Christmas lights. That's not something we typically do, but we wanted to put it to the test, do what we'd have fun with, and not change or do anything, you know, not be stingy to try to make them last. We just wanted to put them to the test. Let's see what they did. I turned these screens off last night. I think you could just turn them off by hitting the button. Yep. This has been like the primary unit. This is the only one that has come on and made any noise and been drawing most of the night. So this one's 7%. So we've drawn 93% off of this unit in 24 hours. And like I said, that was pretty heavy draw yesterday with the Christmas lights. And we've sucked 50%, 48% off of the 3000 and 50% off of the other 2300. So if I did the math right, we used 1,500 watt hours off the battery capacity, the 3000, 1150 from the bottom one, plus another 2,300. So we use about 4,900 watt hours in the last 24 hours. So what I'd like to do today, since this one's dead and it's a nice sunny day, I do not have solar running over here. So I could take this unit outside, charge it off of my solar arrays, or I can suck the juice from my solar shed and charge it up here. So I'm going to put some AC charge on this and see how we can charge this real quick. So each Dabbsson DBS2300 Plus can take 800 watts of solar, the power stations, and the battery packs, I believe, can take 1,200 watts direct PV voltage from your solar arrays. So if you have 2 battery expansion packs and 1 DBS2300, you could put up to 3,200 watts of solar into that unit, and you can charge in just a couple hours. This is not hooked to any grid, any charging of any sort. So there's no, like right now, my solar shed is recharging. If I had juice coming into this right now, we'd have 200 to 500 watts coming into it all day long. Like in the morning, less, and then in the afternoon, we'd have more like 1,000 to 2,000 watts coming in. So it would charge it back up during the day, no problem. But I'm gonna hook up some AC plugs, show you how we can charge it with the AC right here off of my grid / solar shed. All right, guys, I have all our charging cables here. One for the vehicle where we can charge it with DC right from a cigarette plug. I'll show you that guy real quick. That's this guy. We actually charged it in the Jeep while we were bebopping around the property a little bit in case we needed some power. And we have the solar attachment. They use the XT60 from MC4 connections. So we could take this unit outside, put it on the portable solar panel or our permanent solar array directly. Or, like I said, maybe in the long run, I'll run direct PV voltage into here, and then I could charge these power stations without using my solar shed. There's really no reason, if that solar shed does fail me in the next couple years because of the lead acid batteries that are in it, that I couldn't run direct PV voltage into the cabin. Today we're going to charge the top unit just a little bit because the sun's out and our battery bank outside is full. This is like giving you an example, like if we were running this as a backup system for the house. These could be directly tied to the grid and use them as pass-through power to your house. They have, I believe, a 20 millisecond, it's either 13 or 20 millisecond UPS, so uninterrupted power supply. So you don't have to worry about your devices like your computers and stuff turning off if there's a power outage. If you use this as a pass-through unit, which we could very easily do that. So we're going to use our AC plug it into the unit here, and give us a little bit of charge while the sun's shining. And we can do that because I equipped the system to be very versatile, just like the Dabbsson DBS2300. Alright, so I plugged in the AC wire to our grid tie / our solar shed, running over here to the AC charging port. I have it on slow charging right now, so there's only 600 watts going in there. It says it'll take 3.6 hours to charge up at that rate. The screen is really bright. You can see it outside, even in the sunshine, without, you know, like shading it or getting too close to it. So they're super bright. That's really cool, really nice. Another great feature that I really like about the Dabbsson DBS2300 Plus is all the toggle switches right here on the side. This takes the unit from an eco mode to a standard mode. There's also a toggle switch that takes you from fast charge to slow charge. So like right now we could put a little less strain on our solar bank outside and transfer it into this battery bank at 600 watts, or I could toggle it up, put it to fast charge, and we'll take up to, let's see what we're gonna do. Look, 1600 watts. So at 1600 watts, this unit will take 1.7 hours, 1.5 hours to fill up. And that's perfectly safe for this line because this is 10 gauge wire leading up to this box. We could pump, like I said, 3630 amps through here, no problem. And then this is only running 15 amps. 15 amps at 110 volt, you could go up to 1800 watts without running into any problems. So we're gonna suck some juice off of our solar shed, put it in here. One thing I do not want to do is plug in both units to that plug and charge them at fast charge. What that'll do is put too much strain on my 15 amp plug, and you know, potentially what it should do is trip the breaker or pop the fuse in the disconnect box underneath the house. So again, while the sun's shining, we're gonna charge everything up. That's how you gotta roll here. We're gonna fill up everything with the solar while it's nice and sunny. Pretty cool, guys. I really like the versatility of the DBS2300. I really do. Alright, guys, it would obviously be more efficient to charge these systems directly with PV voltage, solar input, but because of the way I have this set up, it's extremely versatile. It's a little less efficient way to do it, But and the floor space, like it takes up literally the floor space of one large deep cycle battery. And it's got all the inverters, all the charging mechanisms in them, you know, the charge controllers, all the BMSs, there's everything in these units. It's crazy, guys, the technology now. People sometimes give power stations a hard time because they think they're overpriced, but for $1,299, you have everything in one unit. You have 2,300 watt hours. You have a charge controller. You have an inverter. You have all your plugs. You have your BMS. I mean, and you get a warranty with it. Whereas if you do stuff yourself and build stuff yourself, typically you don't get a warranty with a lot of devices like that. So, because you're building a system. I'm going to let this run for a little bit, go do some stuff, and we'll catch up in a little bit. All right, guys, we've had the Dabbsson DBS2300 system for a week now. We've used it in the cabin exclusively. It's done a great job. I love that I can charge it in so many ways. These are at about 50%. I'm actually going to do my monthly maintenance for my generator. I run my generator for an hour every month just so it doesn't get clogged up and stuff. So I'm going to hook up all of the Dabbssons to that for that 1 hour that I run it, and I can charge them bad boys up real quick. That 1 hour, if I do my maintenance, I can charge everything back up, which is pretty sweet. I know a lot of you guys have off-grid cabins, hunting camps, RVs. If you're looking for a better option and a better system, check out the Dabbsson DBS2300. Last time I checked them out, they were $1,299, which is significantly lower than a lot of the other units, and you get higher watt hour capacity with this unit. And you get semi-solid state batteries, semi-solid state Life PO4 batteries that get you up to 4,500 cycles to 80% capacity rather than the 3,000. So you can use this unit for 15 years. If you're traveling in an RV, or if you're in that hunting camp that you have with that big old loud generator that sucks up a bunch of gas every day, instead of running it for 24 hours to power your cabin or your camp, you can run it for 2 hours, charge up the Dabbsson DBS2300 systems, and run your cabin off of that. No more loud generator. So I think that is where these units really shine. The fast charging, the ability to expand the battery capacity with the expansion batteries, easy, no drama, no having to create your own system like I did with the solar shed. You know, that's a great system. We love it, but having such versatility and flexibility with a system like this is pretty hard to beat. Take it off of your cabin if you want, throw it in the back of the Jeep. I'm gonna head down to camp here actually and fiddle fart down there for a few hours, so I'm taking the Dabbsson with me. Make sure you guys check out the links in the description box below in the first pinned comment. I don't know if Dabbsson's giving us a special discount coupon or not, so check that out and see if there's one there. Last time I checked out the site, the Dabbsson was $1,299, so I don't know if there's any discount codes below that, but even at that price, that's a great deal. A lot of the other companies are in the $1,800 range for a unit like this, and they give you a discount, and it still comes out quite a bit more expensive than the Dabbsson DBS2300. So if you're looking for a versatile system that you can expand very easily, check it out. We want to thank Dabbsson for sponsoring this video, and I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video. These videos help our channel a lot, showing these products to people. It gets us out there to new people, and yeah, a lot of people love these videos because they get to check out these systems before they buy them and invest in them. And I would definitely stand behind this system. So we'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Best wishes.